So this video basically gonna be breaking down the top 5 most hated signs. Now, it's gonna be subjective, of course. Different people gonna hate different signs based off who they supposed to line up with. We already know that, but this gonna be a general list of the 5 signs that I seen get the most hate. And when you research what is the top 5 most hated signs and look at the polls and stuff like that, it's a general consensus on the signs that's the most hated or the most misunderstood and things like that. So yeah, I wanted to give my top 5. Like, this list gonna be the general top 5 of most lists and how most people think, but then also I'm gonna give my top 5 most hated signs, because what's crazy is that I would say maybe 3 of the most common hated signs I agree with, but maybe 2 is different for me personally. But I ain't gonna make it personal right now. I'll probably do I'm gonna do my own separate thing on my top 5 most hated signs, or the signs that I would switch out. Actually, I'll probably just say that and put that in the video. The signs that I would, if I agree or not. At the end, I'll put if I agree with this one of my most hated signs. And of course, I'm going to break down why this Zodiac sign is hated and why they misunderstood. Because every Zodiac sign on this list, I done had a relationship with, or I know, or then been cool with. So I can speak on every sign. So right off the rip, number 5 most hated Zodiac sign. Because I'm going to try to go in order, but it's kind of hard. It kind of flip flop and goes back and forth. But okay, number 5 gotta be, sorry to say, Virgo. Virgo, the number 5 most hated Zodiac sign. And why? And do I think that Virgo should be number 5 or in the top 5 most hated Zodiac signs? And the answer actually is yeah. I actually kind of have to agree. Now, I don't think that they should be at the top of the list. I think that 5 is a good place, because I think that there's definitely other signs who more hated than the Virgo is. So Virgo not the worst that there is, but they definitely got to be top 5. Don't get mad at me, Virgo. I'm just going by the news report. I'm just going by, I'm just going by what it says. So, and personally, I ain't gonna lie how I feel also, because I also know a lot of Virgos. Most people know a Virgo because Virgos is the New Year's Eve, the holiday babies. You have a baby, around the holidays, is 9 times out of 10 gonna end up being a Virgo. So the reason why Virgos is the most hated to me, I'm gonna look up some of the reasons, but before I do, I want to give my own reasons as to why I think that Virgo is the top 5 and one of the most hated signs. Now, first off, Virgos is hated, and I think that the worst trait of a Virgo is their judgmental and their overcritical mind in the way that they are. So if you know a Virgo, a lot of Virgos is known for being judgmental, being overcritical of people, and looking at people as they don't meet up to their standards, or judging people on certain things that they do. And it feel like a Virgo always has something to say, always got to get their input, always got to comment on something, always think, that something not right, especially with their partners and stuff. So in the Virgo defense, because I would say, that's why I said in a way, every Zodiac sign is misunderstood in a way, but the way that get misunderstood is because what I come to learn in a lot of ways, that a Virgo just want to help you. So Virgos be critical and always criticizing you because they like things to be perfect and they want you to be perfect. So in a way, it comes from a good place of, okay, I'm trying to get you better, but then a lot of times it comes across as nagging and complaining, which a lot of people could say that Virgos do a lot of nag and complain. And Also, another reason why Virgos is hated is because they uptight. And I think that a lot of Virgos display this trait. Like Kobe was a big example. Kobe Bryant was a big example of that trait. Michael Jackson was. Beyonce is looked at in that way. Like a lot of Virgos is looked up as uptight, like, stuck up, think that they better than everybody. Like, even if it's not true, because I know Virgos, like, I'm not like that, but that's how a lot of Virgos is perceived. Like, Kobe or Michael Jackson wasn't really trying to be uptight, but they just took their work seriously. And I guess that would be the pushback to it, is that they take they feeling seriously in the way that, they job seriously, and they take things seriously, more seriously than a lot of people. And that's why they come across as uptight. Like one of my boys that was a Virgo, we used to call him the fun vacuum. Like whenever he come in the room, he just sucks up the fun in the room. And it's not to say that Virgos don't like to have fun, because they do, but Virgos are not a real big party sign. Like a lot of Virgos I know, which is crazy, they party, but not all the time. Like they not gonna get confused with like a air like maybe an air sign or a fire sign. Like Virgos is more so chill to they self, worried about work and stuff like that. So that could come across as not being fun and uptight. And then a lot of ways they expect perfection. So if you're not doing your job or slacking, they gonna let you know about it, and they gonna irritate you about it. So that's also why a lot of people don't like Virgos. Number three reason why people hate Virgos, I would say, I mean, when we get into this, I believe that every sign cheating is a human thing that everybody do. So we can get into which zodiac signs cheat the most, but every zodiac sign cheats. So that's not exclusive to Virgos. But from what I know, that Virgo's like one of the signs that cheats the most, that's up there with cheating, because mostly all the Virgos I know then cheated, and a lot of Virgos I know then basically got around. A lot of them I know got a bunch of kids, like the men Virgos I know have a bunch of kids. And so, yeah, like, I know a lot of Virgos that then cheated and got around, because funny thing, just like with the earth sign, with them being the earth sign, is that earth signs, one thing that I noticed, and we know that goes to their sign, is that a lot of earth signs is in relationships or marriages and stuff, because they crave stability. So it's different than like an air sign when it comes to cheating, because most time, like an air sign, like I'm an air sign, we gonna be single and cheat, or single and do our thing and play the field. But we hard to tie down. So 9 times 10 we get in a relationship, we really not gonna be trying to cheat, even though we know Geminis and Libras can be big cheaters. But for the most part, we not craving to be in a relationship. Most, air signs, we'll tell you that we trying to be single for the most part. But the earth signs, they more so be trying to have their cake and eat it too, for the most part. Like they be trying to be booed up or relationship up, but still be trying to do their thing. So I know a lot of people got experiences with Virgos being big cheaters too. So I would say that's another reason why people hate Virgo. So I want to take a look real quick on why it says people hate Virgo. So yeah, so why Virgo is the most hated sign. Virgos are constantly worried. They worry they forgot something. They always worry, and so that gets on people's nerves. They overcritical, like which I said. They real critical, criticizing people, and they also critical of themselves. Also, like Virgos do put themselves down a lot. Virgos are uptight, like I said. They too serious, like Kobe and Beyonce. They need to take a chill pill and relax. Like I said, one of my Virgos, like we called them the fun police. Like, and I dated a Virgo girl, like she was always uptight and never happy. Virgo is the most hated because they are hard to please. So Virgos seek perfection. So a lot of them do judge their partner and want a high quality partner. So, and Virgos suppress their emotions. So Virgos are terrible at expressing their emotions. So that goes to them being one of the less emotional signs that there is. So Virgos will tend to like hide their emotions more so than other signs. Then, like if Virgo dealing with a water sign might feel like they don't express themselves too much because they more so thinkers like a air sign would be, even though they not an air sign. So them the quick reasons of why people hate Virgos. And, it is what it is. I feel like, y'all definitely is one of the most hated signs. Y'all just not the highest up on the list. So feel how you want to feel. That's number 5, Virgo. So now number 4, we get into the Mount Rushmore of the most hated signs. So I think I know who the top 2 signs is, and most people probably gonna agree. So these next 2, they have to be on the list, but they not the most hated, but they definitely one of the most hated zodiac signs. So number 4 on my list. So number 4, and it was close. I had to do a lot of research and really think for myself. Um, it was between Leo and Taurus, and I ultimately decided to go with Leo. The more research I did, and from my own personal experience. So number 4, Leo, and I mean these 2 signs I had to really research and look into because they not wouldn't be in my top 5 most hated. Between a Leo and a Taurus, I dealt with both before. It wasn't terrible, but I had some good times, and then I had, I done got into it with them before, a Leo and a Taurus before. So I'm kind of in the middle. Like, I don't really hate them signs. They not my favorite 2 signs, but I don't hate them either. But of course, I get more so along with Leos, and I'm more attracted to Leos, which is funny, even though it's a lot of good looking Taurus, but I'm more attracted to Leo females because I'm an Aquarius. So of course that's my opposite sign. And then they a fire sign and I'm an air sign. So it do usually go together. So I done had a lot of fun with Leos for sure. So, but then the 2, I done got into it with every Leo I done dealt with. Like, we didn't have some fun and good times, but it didn't always end it bad. And then for a Taurus, um, it just on a certain level, that's why I believe in the zodiac signs, like we just don't click a lot. And it says that Aquarius and Taurus won't click on certain levels, probably because I'm an air sign. And I be noticed I care more about mental, and Taurus more so care about the stability and the material world. And Aquarius, we kind of against that. Like, I would rather have a partner that I intellectually click with, that I can conversate with. I feel like a Taurus would more so want a relationship with somebody who's stable and has money and fit the build and all of that type of stuff. So that's my opinion about Taurus and Leo. So the reason why I chose Leo, looking at it, because more so people feel like they hate Leo, and then looking into it, I can see why more people would hate Leo than Taurus, because most of the time Taurus stays to themselves and really by themselves and don't bother too many people for the most part. You just won't get to like Taurus until you get to know them. Like Leo, we know is more outgoing, and of course, the number one reason why people hate Leos is because they self-centered and egotistical. So we already know that, and I can even say that for myself. I would say my number one reason is because they drama kings and queens. From what I've seen, not all of them, but most of them I've seen. Like one Leo girl I was dating, she would just throw a fit about if I don't answer my phone. Or one time, like, she was outside my apartment, and yeah, I think I was the apartment at the time. So she was outside my apartment, and I was playing the game. So I took a minute to go get her, and she was just making a big scene in front of everybody, like it's not even that serious. And they are real dramatic and overblow things. Then I had a Leo coworker, and they told her she had to do something or clean up or do some other stuff, and she went off in front of the manager and everything. So yeah, Leos is known definitely to be dramatic and be doing the most. Like, like it's not even that serious. for you to be doing all that. So that's my number one reason why I don't like Leos, and like why I could see Leos being hated is because they over dramatic. And then two, I could see Leos being hated because Leo just another sign like Virgos, to where a lot of Leos is known as cheaters and being big cheaters. Like, especially like I can only speak for the women. Like I don't know about the men and stuff. I only know about one of my exes dated a Leo, and she said that her ex you was a yeah one of my exes dated a Leo. Her ex was a Leo, and she said that they broke up because he was cheating a lot. So I don't know, but I know the females that I do know was some cheaters. Like one Leo girl I was talking to, and then they say that the L still stands for lion, like Leos be lying. That's another reason why people hate Leos. But the one that I knew that I was messing with, yeah, she was dealing with this dude, and he kept on calling my phone and trying to, why you talking to her and stuff. And she would always say, no, I'm not talking to him. It's not like that. And he my old best friend and blah, blah, blah. But come to find out, once we got into it, she was dealing with him the whole time. So that just goes to show, like, they be lying and they be, cheating and unfaithful. Then another Leo girl I knew, that's why I never got serious with her, but she told me straight up, she messed with a lot of dudes. She a player. She get around, like that's how some Leos can be, feeling like they players and stuff. So that's another reason why I can see why people hate Leos, because they can give off the impression, or a lot of them can be players. So what else? Another reason I would hate Leos, of course, just like all fire signs, because I feel like all fire signs can be hated to a certain degree, even though I'm compatible with fire signs and I get along with them a lot. But all, fire signs all have in common that they fiery, they impulsive, so they do a lot of stuff without thinking. And Leo just, one of them too, like just impulsive. And we know impulsive can be a bad thing. Nine times out of 10, it is a bad thing. There's certain times where you can be impulsive and it can be an edge and get you to do stuff, which is good. But most time you doing stuff without thinking. So Leos could do a lot of stuff and not be thinking about what they doing. So I can see that's why they end up being hated. So let's look up why is Leos hated. Leos are egotistical. Oh, I didn't even see that when I looked it up. But yeah, that's the number one reason. Like I told y'all, they definitely egotistical. They known for their confidence, but it can be coming across as overconfidence. And of course, they can be self-centered. Leos enjoy being the center of attention. I know people say that a lot, and that's a big Leo trait, is that they love the spotlight. They the sun. They like to be seen. So, of course, anybody who loves being in the spotlight and getting attention, some of the time it can be for negative things, and don't nobody like no attention, or somebody that's always fighting for attention. So that's why they can be hated too. Leos are strong-willed and sometimes stubborn. So they a fixed sign, just like Aquarius and Taurus and Scorpio. So of course they stubborn, so it's hard to change their mind. So of course that can be frustrating and off-putting to a lot of people. And then I said that's their number one trait. They dramatic, like definitely. Um, can be annoying, over exaggerate things, have a big reaction to things. Like, yeah, I said that. And they can be a bit bossy, which I can see too. Leos can be controlling, and the Leos that I knew said, one Leo girl talking about, I can only be at a job if I'm the boss. And actually the other girl who I said went off in front of the manager, she was trying to be the boss. So yeah, it makes sense that they can definitely be bossy and controlling. And then sometimes they can be jealous. So yeah, that's why I says that Leos is hated. So I can see and I can agree with that. I definitely believe that they not the most hated, but I can see them being in the top 5. So that's Leo. So the number 3 most hated zodiac sign. And these top 3, they definitely the top 3. Like every list I look on, they definitely up there in the top 3. And I definitely um agree. I guess we'll get into it by each one, but in the top 3, I don't care except for one of them. I haven't really actually dealt with a lot, which is funny. So I can't really speak on one of them. So we gonna get to that. So the number 3 most hated zodiac sign, and this was hard, really, but they definitely got to be in the top 3. And I'm going to go with Aries. Aries definitely got to be top 3. I can actually see any of the top 3 being number 1. Like I could see Aries being number 1, which is crazy. Sorry, Aries. I know how y'all is, but further proven, and I'm gonna get to why y'all are definitely a top 3 most hated sign. So Aries is, I know more Aries probably than any other zodiac sign. I got family members that's Aries, friends that's Aries. I dated a couple Aries, so I know all about Aries. And I get along with them for the most part. My longest friendship is with an Aries, so I click with them a lot. But it's one thing, and what's funny is that it shows the difference between. I guess we should get into being hated because it's a difference between dating a sign and being friends with a sign. So you can have a better experience just being friends versus relationships. So this video really kind of touching on both, but when I look up the most hated, I'm guessing most people probably talking about people that they dated, but it could, like I said, be both. But getting into Aries being the 3rd most hated sign and why. So I feel like Aries, in my opinion, why it's a top 3 hated sign. The reason why people hate Aries, and the number 1, of course, is they temper, they attitude, they aggression. We already know. Like if you know what Aries, like they have a temper problem. They overly aggressive, always like, they that type of people. For perfect example, Suge Knight is the Aries. Whack 100 is the Aries. Who else? Steven Jackson is the Aries. Bill Belichick is the Aries. Like it's a bunch of Aries, and about them people personality is that they don't get along with a lot of people, and Aries always, that's why they the rim, they are always butting heads with people and getting into it with people. Like it just is what it is. Like Aries rub a lot of people the wrong way. They not the most friendliest sign, of course. So y'all should already noticed, Aries, that a lot of people hate y'all and why y'all the most hated. Now, as far as being misunderstood, I feel like to a certain degree, because a lot of Aries do have a good heart. They fun people. They like to have fun. They good to hang around with. A lot of Aries is funny. Like Aries is one of the most funniest people, one of the most outgoing people. Oh, and Sexy Red is an Aries, so we know how much Sexy Red is hated. Just like we know how much Suge Knight, Bill Belichick, like these people I'm naming is like people that's like we know like that's famous for being hated, and they all Aries. So Summer Walker is the Aries. Like a lot of Aries, like a lot of people don't like Aries because, like I said, them being aggressive and they temper, and then two, they the most impulsive sign. Just like I was saying about Leo, is that they do a lot of stuff without thinking, and a lot that they do affects people, get on people's nerves, rub people the wrong way. So that's another reason. Like Aries is a cheat out of impulse. Like I said, Aries is not like gonna be like one of the signs that's like real sneaky, like a Scorpio, and go about it. Like Aries is the type that you gotta worry about them going to a party and just cheating out of impulse because they having too much fun. Like so, that's the number 2 reason why a lot of people already know hate Aries. And then what else? People hate about Aries. Yeah, just really they attitude and really just they personality. Like it can be too much for people to handle, and then they blunt, they tell it like it is. They don't care about people's feelings. So that's gonna rub people the wrong way when you talk any type of way and have a negative tone towards people. And I got an Aries moon, so I know it. I try to use the Aries traits for good because Aries, of course, do have a lot of good traits like being a leader and a go-getter and being brave and stuff. So, but I know in certain ways I rub people the wrong way and I'm real aggressive when I'm attacked at going at people. So, yeah. So let me, why is Aries so hated? Oh, yeah, we forgot. Uh, I just seen one that I forgot about, but it said that I'm gonna see if they said people hate Aries because of their confidence. People hate Aries because they're impatient, misunderstood, anger. Yeah, I could see all of them too, but I'm gonna go back to this was Reddit, so people was giving their reason why people hate Aries, but them being selfish definitely, and I forgot about that. Like Aries definitely can be selfish a lot, caring about they self, nobody else. Like I got to see that firsthand with family members, like basically hitting the lottery, not and in other words, not exactly, but basically something like hitting the lottery and, didn't look out for nobody but they self, was just worried about they self and what they have to do. And then a lot of people say that Suge Knight is selfish in a lot of ways. Bill Belichick could be selfish. Like a lot of Aries is known for being selfish and only caring about they self in a lot of ways because they are the sign of self. So it's a good thing because of course caring about yourself, having self-love, and a lot of Aries have self-love and stuff like that, but it can rub people the wrong way, when it comes to being selfish because you don't like helping people. So of course people not gonna like that about you. So yeah, we already know. So Aries, that's why y'all hated in the top three hated sign. Like a lot of Aries or we see that's hated it because y'all have a strong personality and y'all rub a lot of people the wrong way. So the number two most hated zodiac sign. These top two was easy because most people already know these top two. They come up on every list towards the top. So I'm gonna put um okay, so number two, just get to it. Number two is Scorpio. Number two. So, do I feel like Scorpio should be in this high on the list? I can actually see it. I can actually see putting Scorpio number one, but that's just my own personal experience. I actually can see actually the sign that I would put number one actually not on this list was crazy from my personal experience. Um, so yeah, they actually not on this list, but and I can, like I said, I can actually see Aries being put over Scorpio, but whatever. But I do agree Scorpio could be on this list, and Scorpio definitely one of the most hated signs, and I agree from my own personal experience because my first three ex-girlfriends were Scorpios. One of my closest friends that I fell out with was a Scorpio. So yeah, I know a lot about Scorpios too. So right off the rip, the reason why I think that people hate Scorpios, the number one reason is because of their just like Aries and they both ruled by Mars. That's why they said the signs don't lie. Like Scorpios have their own aggression and anger problems and temper problems, and they real like a real aggressive personality also like Aries, but then they're emotional, so sometimes it can be even worse. But then sometimes I know Scorpios can control their anger a little bit more than a Aries do because they not more so outward like a fire sign would be. They more so inwards with their emotions. But yeah, like Scorpio, just like Virgo, can be hard people to deal with. Like they can get it, like they can get into it with a lot of people and be people that just basically hard to get along with. Like Jocelyn Hernandez is a perfect example of a Scorpio. Ike Turner was a Scorpio. Um, who else is a Scorpio? I know Drake is a Scorpio, but Drake is more so one of the more cool than light Scorpio. But Drake is hated by a lot of people also. Future is a Scorpio. Trying to think. Stevie J is a Scorpio. Like, it's a lot of Scorpios, but for the most part, if you know Scorpios, Scorpios get a lot of bad rep because we know that Scorpios is revengeful, secretive, and manipulative. We know that some of their biggest trait and they negative traits, and a lot of Scorpios do show that. Oh, Diddy, of course, Diddy is a Scorpio, and we know how much hate Diddy is getting right now. So yeah, we know about their nature, and Diddy showed a lot of Scorpio negative traits, with Cassie and how he was. Like, that was right up a Scorpio. He'll being jealous, Scorpios can be jealous and controlling. Like, Scorpios got a lot of I'm sorry to say it is, but Scorpios got a lot of negative trait. Now, on the flip side, we know Scorpios are some giving people. Like, like the Scorpio friend I had, like, he would give you the shirt off his back. Like, a lot of Scorpios are giving and loving people, and a lot of Scorpios I know are big into their family and providers and stuff like that. So of course every son got their good and negative traits. So Scorpios do have a good heart. A lot of Scorpios are good people deep down, but just the way that they come across, it kind of like Aries is that it's just the Mars and their personality. They just come off putting, but deep down they good people. But it's hard to get over dealing with bad personality, kind of just like Virgo too. Like, it's hard to, like, you just got to know and accept the Aries or a Scorpio for who they is to really deal with them. But for the most part, they just rub people the wrong way. So, mm, why is uh, why does everyone hate Scorpio? So, Scorpio are known for being jealous. Like I said, they are famous for letting the green eye monster take over. We've seen that with Diddy, but knowing Scorpio, like I said, my first three exes with Scorpios, I didn't really see a super amount of jealousy from them. So, but a lot of people do say that Scorpios are jealous, and I've seen it from one of my friends, like being jealous, with his ex-girlfriend or whatever. So, because Scorpios hate disloyalty and stuff like that. They may have a trouble of letting go. So we already know, and that is the big trait. Scorpio definitely do live in the past, which is crazy. Like, Scorpio friend I had, he would always bring up the past and past stuff that happened. Like, love to live in the past, and then like they say, they known for holding grudges, which we already know is true. Like, definitely true. They can be vengeful, like I said, they can be seeking revenge and looking to get back on people and to get over on people. Definitely true. They manipulative, like I said, definitely can be telling people one thing and doing another. It's a lot of instances, and I know a lot of Scorpios like that then definitely manipulated people to get what they want out of them. Definitely possessive, definitely. They can be possessive over what's theirs. Definitely like that for sure. Obsessive in relationships. Definitely Scorpio will probably tell you that they self, and we've seen that from Diddy too. Like, yeah, Scorpio definitely could be obsessive over their partner and want to know what you're doing, where you at, spying on you, like a Scorpio will spy on you, all of that. Scorpios can be yes, a lot of Scorpios is standoffish. Scorpios, a lot of them, you got to get to know them to see the true them. Like, Scorpios are just like Virgos. They not a sign that a lot of people can just walk up to and start a conversation with. Like, they can definitely be cold. They take a while to open up, just like I said, yeah, you got to get to know a Scorpio. They can run hot and cold. They have high standards for their friends and partners, and they got a lot for Scorpio, and they can play mind games. They always, they aren't always open and honest with communication. So definitely, and then I was looking forward. Another thing I thought about with Scorpio too is that Scorpios can be bossy too. A lot of Scorpios I know, like, and that's why I got into with my Scorpio friend is that dude was definitely bossy, like trying to control everything. I guess they go back to the controlling, but it goes hand to hand. But he was definitely controlling and bossy, which got on my nerves. Cause me being Aquarius, ain't nobody finna control or boss me around. So that's why Aquarius and Scorpio can click. And then a lot of ways they do click. Like I said, my first three exes with Scorpios. Scorpius and Aquarius click on a lot of levels, but when it comes to their possessiveness and controlling this, Aquarius not dealing with that. We already know that. So yeah, so that's Scorpio number two. Okay, now the number one versus Zodiac sign, this should be kind of easy. We already know with Zodiac sign get the worst rep, which hated the most. Off rip Gemini. Sorry, Gemini, y'all should already knew y'all first. Like y'all literally number one on every list. So for me, like I said, what's crazy is that Gemini supposed to be my most compatible sign along with Libra being an Aquarius, but I haven't really dealt with no Gemini. I tried to talk to one Gemini girl. She had problems going on. So maybe that's a red flag. But we had good conversation and everything was cool. But Gemini is probably the only sign that I haven't dated. Really, and I mean, I had some Gemini boys, like one of my closest friends in high school, he was a Gemini. And then, my favorite artist is Tupac. He a Gemini. So I do click with Geminis, but on a relationship level, I never dealt with one. And then my dad is a Gemini. So then, um, my relationship is what it is with my dad. Like me and my dad don't talk often. I don't hate him, but he know why. Like he wasn't a good dad. He was, I guess, doing Gemini stuff. But yeah, so I can't really speak on Gemini. Like Gemini wouldn't be number one on my list, but that's just maybe because I haven't dealt with a lot of them, or maybe because that's one of my most compatible signs. So I don't know, but on most people list, Gemini is definitely number one. So the reason why Gemini is the most hated sign, we should already know off rip is that Gemini dual nature and them having two sides. So a lot of time that comes off as being two-faced. Geminis could act, can have two different sides to them. So they can be hypocrites in a lot of situations, or they could say one thing and do another and change their mind a lot. So of course that's gonna rub people the wrong way, especially in relationships when somebody constantly changing up their mind and you two different people, like you're not being consistent on who you is. So we know that that's one of the big reasons why people hate Geminis. And then two, Geminis is known as some of the biggest cheaters. Like I said, my personal opinion, like Leos and Virgos can be players, but when most people say what's the sign that cheats the most, Gemini's at the top of that list. So like I said, I never dealt with a Gemini woman, but I know that my dad was known for getting around a couple other females. I know that jaded Geminis, they got around for sure. A lot of Geminis that we know that's famous, like Tupac and stuff, they got around and dated around, even though like Ice Cube and Kendrick Lamar are both Geminis and they married. So of course it's not all Geminis, but a lot of Geminis is known for getting around and being players and stuff like that. And I think that's a big reason why people hate Geminis and Geminis get a bad rep. So yeah, that's two of the reasons. My Geminis can definitely be fickle, and that's what I seen for Gemini. Like, they could be fickle and here one minute and gone the next. Like, a lot of air signs, like we known, I guess, for that. But I think Gemini more so the most like that because they mutable. Like, Gemini known for flaking on people and ghosting people and stuff like that. So I could see that being a big reason why Geminis are hated. Then I know that they say that Geminis lie a lot, they big liars and stuff like that. So let's look into it. Why does everybody hate Gemini? It's not really telling them. We're very independent. We're facilitators of the drama. Um, Not giving me no. Oh, people hate Geminis because they find Geminis intimidating, aggravated by them, or they can't figure them out. Sound like a Gemini wrote this, and this was crazy. A lot of this stuff, it seemed like a Gemini wrote. But then it said Geminis have a tendency to be flighty and flaky, which I also said. Very talkative, which I guess can rub people the wrong way. They could say some Geminis talk too much. I know some Geminis that didn't talk a lot, but some can talk too much. They can get on others' nerves easily without meaning to, but also without really trying not to. They tend to want to be constantly busy and entertained and hate being in one place too long. So that can also be true too, is that because I heard about a bunch of Geminis, they like to be on the go and always ripping and running the streets and doing stuff. So of course in a relationship, someone won't like that. They get bored easy, so we know that that can cause problems and cause them to date and get around a lot. They love to socialize and be in everybody's business. They are reckless and never like to be tied down for a long time. This causes them to be unfaithful to their partners when they have entered into a relationship, clearly creating big reasons for them to be hated. Nobody likes a cheater. So it is like I said, some of the reasons, like I said, is that they known for cheating and being flaky people. And then, like I said, they dual nature. So yeah, it makes sense, definitely. A lot of people have bad experiences with Gemini. Sorry, Gemini, y'all the most hated now, but y'all being misunderstood. Cause me knowing Geminis, like I said, oh, Kanye is also a Gemini. Donald Trump is a Gemini. So it's like, a lot of Geminis is hated. We know how controversial and hated Kanye and Donald Trump can be. So, like that's just a good example. But I'll say for them being misunderstood, like we know Gemini is a very smart sign. Like Geminis are very smart people. They very artsy people. They good at communicating. That's why a lot of Geminis are artists. Some of the artists we love, like Prince, Tupac, Biggie, Ice Cube, Kendrick Lamar, like it's a lot of Geminis that make music that we love. So, we love their music. A lot of people do love Donald Trump. So, they do have a lot of good traits and they very relatable to a lot of people. And like I said, they very good at communicating so they can make a lot of friends and be good to hold a conversation with. Like I said, they very smart and very talented and stuff like that. So every sign has their good traits. So that's basically Gemini, and that's basically the top 5 most hated zodiac signs. So y'all tell me what y'all think. Did I get it right, or which zodiac sign is missing?